£65 million for Carlos Baleba. Manchester United are not spending that kind of money on the next Bruno Fernandes or Rodri. And certainly, they're not buying a midfielder who is going to score 20 goals a season. So, why the hell are Manchester United so desperate to get him?
It is the right move.
And then I saw her face. I'm a believer! I'm a believer! Carlos Baleba to Man United! They wanted midfielders! We got the midfielder, Baleba!
Carlos Baleba is a very different kind of midfielder. He wins the ball back, cuts off passing lanes, and covers huge areas of the pitch. Whenever Brighton lose possession, he is immediately present in the very area the opposition wants to attack. This disruptive presence is reflected in the numbers, with Opta Analysis once ranking his 6.5 ball recoveries per 90 minutes among the top midfielders in the Premier League.
But Max FIFA has broken the deadlock here, and Brighton's
Wow.
Were you?
Yeah.
Here's Baleba. Good strike, great strike!
However, that impressive form was threatened when Baleba's numbers declined last season, with 0 goals, 0 assists, and just 23 Premier League starts. This decline raises the question of what Manchester United are really buying: a future superstar, an elite defensive midfielder, or a £65 million solution to a problem they still have not been able to solve. Manchester United's pursuit of Carlos Baleba goes far beyond pure talent, because he possesses exactly the midfield qualities that Michael Carrick's tactical system is looking for. This proactive approach has brought the Red Devils very close to an official transfer agreement. Putting aside the exaggerated media rumours for a moment, let's take a precise look at the midfielder's true abilities. Carlos Baleba's true value is best reflected in his astonishing growth since leaving Lille for Brighton in 2023 for €27 million, only for that figure to quadruple in less than 2 seasons. This explosion came during the peak of his 2024-25 form, where the statistics across 61 appearances said it all: 119 tackles with a 55% success rate, 64 interceptions, 292 ball recoveries, and 301 successful duels. In other words, with every passing game, Baleba disrupted an average of nearly 5 opposition attacks, immediately creating opportunities for Brighton to counterattack.
I just see a strong kid, bro. He's the strongest kid I've ever seen, bro. Jacked. when he's tops off.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought, and then they told me, yeah, he's born like 2004 or something like that. I thought, Ron, I started looking at myself like, 01, innit? Like, did I miss out or something? And he used to come up and just like play free, bro. Like he'd bully some pros. You'd be thinking, yo, bro, relax, because these are pros, innit? Like, relax. But he's done his thing, and I always knew that like he had what it takes to like get to the higher level.
That all-around defensive game laid the foundation for the quality that has become Carlos Baleba's trademark: the ability to sweep across the midfield before immediately accelerating forward and transitioning into attack. He shattered every doubt surrounding his 1.79-metre frame with an astonishing aerial presence, recording a 72.7% aerial duel success rate in the 2023-24 season and maintaining an impressive 63.8% the following campaign. Numbers comparable to those of centre-backs, standing over 1.90 metres tall in the league. Alongside his work in duels, Baleba also made the entire Premier League take notice with a moment of brilliance: a stunning long-range strike into the top corner against West Ham in stoppage time, a goal that also earned him the Goal of the Month award. The combination of rare qualities ranging from physical strength, blistering speed, sharp game-reading ability, and the capacity to produce at the right moment earned Baleba Brighton's Player of the Season award for 24-25 in completely convincing fashion.
I enjoy my season at 100% with my teammate, the staff, and some kine on the team. But I enjoy a lot with my teammate and the staff.
That blistering speed is precisely why fans have compared Carlos Baleba to the Roadrunner from the cartoon, along with the nickname a Beep Beep, an image symbolising his explosive bursts that leave opponents chasing from behind. However, pure excellence on the pitch is still not enough to explain why Manchester United have persistently pursued this midfielder. across 2 consecutive summer transfer windows. The core reason behind this desire is that Baleba represents the perfect solution to a very specific tactical hole currently existing within the Red Devils squad. In reality, this transfer cooled off when the story first emerged in the summer of 2025. At the time, Brighton valued Baleba at more than £100 million, a figure comparable to the fee Chelsea had previously paid to sign Moises Caicedo from the same club. The excessive price forced Manchester United to withdraw and instead allocate more than £200 million of their budget towards strengthening the attack with signings such as Brian Mbeumo, Matthias Cunha and Benjamin Sesko. This situation turned Brighton into nothing short of a factory producing expensive defensive midfielders, with Bissouma moving to Tottenham, Caicedo to Chelsea, and now Baleba becoming the next name to step onto the transfer conveyor belt. All calculations were completely turned upside down in January 26 following Ruben Amorim's dismissal after a disappointing draw against Leeds and a public press conference criticising the club's leadership. Sinking to 15th place in the table, the Red Devils' worst position in the modern era forced the club to restart the Baleba pursuit as an urgent rescue measure. The arrival of Michael Carrick in the dugout created a remarkable turning point at Old Trafford. The midfield legend immediately transformed a team in crisis into a winning machine with 11 victories across 16 league matches, defeating a series of giants, including Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool and Chelsea to reclaim a Champions League spot after 3 years away. However, the very 4-2-3-1 system Carrick operated, with Bruno Fernandes pushed higher up the pitch, inadvertently exposed a huge gap in front of the defence. The situation became even worse when Casemiro's contract expired at the end of June, while Manuel Ugarte suffered a serious knee injury at the World Cup, leaving the Red Devils in an emergency situation, with only Kobbie Mainoo remaining in midfield. Faced with this urgent personnel problem, Manchester United decided to launch a £150 million midfield overhaul in the summer of 2026. They quickly brought in Andre Santos from Chelsea for £48 million and Youri Tielemans from Aston Villa for £35 million. Now, Carlos Baleba is the final strategic piece completing the picture Carrick is building. This is where the story gets interesting. After a difficult 2025-26 season, which we will dissect in detail later, Baleba's price unexpectedly dropped sharply from more than £100 million to just around £60-65 million plus add-ons. This favourable situation quickly accelerated the deal, with David Ornstein of The Athletic confirming that United had submitted a £60 million offer plus £5 million in add-ons, while Ben Jacobs reported that Baleba had also agreed personal terms with the Old Trafford club. That proactive approach immediately produced clear results. Just this week, Sky Sports reported that Manchester United had moved very close to a full agreement with Brighton, with Baleba even preparing to fly to Manchester for a medical before signing a 5-year contract.
Deal has been agreed between Manchester United and Brighton for Carlos Baleba. Now, the deal is worth £65 million plus £5 million in add-ons, so £70 million for Baleba, and Brighton have also inserted a sell-on clause. Now, the player is expected to sign a 5-year contract and he'll undergo a medical in the next 24 hours.
Notably, this smooth transfer journey has also received a special boost from a familiar face, Brian Mbeumo. The forward has played the role of an elder brother, persuading Baleba thanks to their close friendship developed during Cameroon national team camps. Thanks to that connection, combined with the rapid progress at the negotiating table, the answer to how close are United to Baleba is extremely close, just a medical and a signature away. The arrival of the Cameroonian midfielder solves the personnel problem, while also clearly shaping the Red Devils' future style of play. If the deal is completed, Baleba will likely partner Youri Tielemans in the 4-2-3-1 system Carrick is building. This combination is precisely the missing piece at Old Trafford. Assessing the compatibility between the two, ESPN believes that pairing a physically dominant player with a technically gifted midfielder like Tielemans is exactly the formula Aston Villa previously used so successfully with Amadou Onana. That tactical compatibility explains why Michael Carrick rates this signing so highly. United's head coach has stated that what he sees in Baleba is something the current squad is completely lacking: physical dominance. The manager believes that when Baleba reaches his best form, like his impressive performance against Chelsea, the Cameroonian midfielder is more than capable of becoming a key link in his tactical system.
I just think we're looking to strengthen the squad. We're certainly working towards that and making the most of the situation that we have and trying to improve things and trying to move forward. I said the same thing to you last time. So certainly trying to make the most of the opportunities to finish the window stronger than we went into it, and I think we're in a good way to doing that so far.
Beyond his superior physicality, his versatility and footballing intelligence are also factors that make Carrick particularly eager to have him. In terms of his role, Baleba is considered the closest equivalent to Casemiro in the new squad, a pure defensive midfielder with strong positional awareness, the ability to shield space, and excellent positional discipline. The only difference is that he has yet to develop the instinct to surge forward and score from the second line that the Brazilian midfielder possessed at his peak. Even so, Baleba has something Casemiro lost toward the end of his career: speed. His ability to cover ground and press high will allow Carrick to operate a more proactive style of play, confidently pushing the defensive line higher without fearing exposure in behind. And it does not stop in midfield. The former Brighton star also brings remarkable versatility. Fabian Hürzeler, his former manager, once said that Baleba is fully capable of filling in at left back thanks to his speed, one-on-one ability and energetic movements from deep. A central midfielder who can also handle the role of a full-back. United are clearly looking at a bargain when they can buy one player and get an entire squad package. If everything goes smoothly, Baleba will not simply be a solution to fill the void left by Casemiro. He will bring something that both Amorim and Carrick in his early days desperately searched for. A midfielder who knows how to win the ball, carry it forward, and also has the ability to decide games through moments of individual brilliance. However, this rosy picture comes with one major question mark, a very important but that the Red Devils must face. That major question mark stems directly from the midfielder's own inconsistent form last season. 2025-26 was truly a forgettable low point for Baleba. Despite making 31 Premier League appearances and 23 starts, he failed to contribute a single goal or assist. Even more concerning, he completed the full 90 minutes just 3 times throughout the entire season, spending most of the remaining time either being substituted early or left on the bench. The reason behind that decline came from the psychological side of the game. Bale himself admitted that the enormous pressure created by constant transfer rumours negatively affected his form. Although he acknowledged that he had unintentionally placed too much pressure on himself and viewed it as a lesson for his growth, this is still a detail that should make United fans think twice.
It's a lot of theory, and we can only guess. For sure, when a young boy reads that there's interest from Manchester United with a big offer, it might affect him deep, even not if he's saying like, it affects me, but maybe deep inside of him there is something what affects him. So that's also part of the development, like to understand that when you play well, there comes a big offer, there comes a big club who wants to have him, but then to keep pushing, to be like humble, stay here in Brighton and try to make the next step together with the team, and that's something where we have to keep on working with him, and therefore I can't give you a clear answer if it's really affected him or not. But for sure, I said it before, he's a young boy, and we need to understand that he's not a machine that if you click on, then he always runs, and off, then he stops. So we need to understand his feelings, his emotions. We need to understand like where he comes from, and that's our responsibility.
It is important to remember that Baleba is preparing to join one of the clubs under the most intense media pressure on the planet, while he has just endured a season in which he was overwhelmed by the pressure of transfer rumours. Clearly, Old Trafford will never be as forgiving or gentle an environment as Brighton. Alongside the psychological issue, the Cameroonian star's technical limitations on the pitch are also causing concern among experts. Analysts have identified a number of weaknesses that he must improve if he wants to establish himself at a higher level. His biggest limitation lies in his distribution and decision-making in the final third. Baleba sometimes has a tendency to hold onto the ball for too long whenever passing options further up the pitch are blocked, inadvertently slowing down the team's attacking tempo. He is also considered a relatively static receiving option during build-up from the back, while still frequently taking risks with unsafe passes. This weakness is further exposed by his tendency to rely too heavily on his left foot. Being predominantly one-footed inadvertently narrows his passing angles, finishing ability, and options when carrying the ball explosively. These gaps make Baleba easier for opponents to read when facing teams that sit deep. He often looks uncomfortable and gets neutralised against crowded defensive blocks because this midfielder's greatest strengths truly explode in quick transition situations, rather than when tasked with imposing himself and overwhelming an already set defence. These characteristics paint the picture of a rather contrasting player on the pitch. In other words, Baleba plays extremely well when the game is chaotic, but can easily become confused when everything becomes too orderly, like someone who only shines during rush hour traffic jams, but when the roads are empty, has no idea where to go. Alongside his technical limitations, his extensive injury history is another reason why this transfer carries significant risk. Baleba has previously suffered knee and hamstring injuries and most recently sustained an ankle ligament injury during the 2026 pre-season. This fitness issue could very well keep him out of his Manchester United debut until September. Because of the injury barrier and the limitations that have yet to be addressed, if you are imagining Baleba arriving immediately and carrying the team from his very first game, you should lower your expectations a little. Despite possessing enormous potential, the 22-year-old star is still an unfinished rough diamond, while also carrying the burden of a turbulent season as he walks through the gates of Old Trafford. That risk trade-off brings us to the final core question. So, just how good is Carlos Baleba really? He possesses rare physical attributes, sharp game reading ability, and enough explosiveness to decide games himself through moments of brilliance. However, reality has also shown that he is still a young player who has just endured a season proving that even the brightest talents can be knocked down by intense media pressure. Looking at the reality of the situation, Man United are clearly making a £60 million gamble, along with part of the future of their midfield, with the belief that Baleba's outstanding 2024-25 version will return rather than the struggling figure we saw last season. If that belief is well placed, this could easily become one of the biggest bargains of the transfer window. But if they are wrong, Old Trafford is already far too familiar and suffocating with flop signings over the past decade. If you enjoy our video, don't forget to hit like to help this video reach to other football lovers, and hit the subscribe button to follow for more interesting videos about football stories. See you in the next video.